How many leads do you have? Have you ever heard, I don't know who to call to? My name is Willke. I'm a sales, performance, and leadership coach with Southwestern Consulting. And I created a series of videos that's going to really dive into the cycle of sales following the 160-year-old methodology from Southwestern Consulting and Companies. If you're interested in that theme, subscribe to get the following videos. Today, we're going to be talking about something that most people don't do. Pre-approach. That's number one on the 7-step cycle, on the cycle of sales. And what does pre-approach mean? Well, let me ask a question. What do you do before you pick up that phone to call someone? What do you do when you knock on that door, when you set up the meeting, when you send an email? Do you know who you're talking to? Or did someone just hand you the name or the list for you to talk to? And then it becomes a real cold call, correct? So today with pre-approach, we're going to teach a little bit of how you're going to approach someone before you even call. What are you going to do before that step of picking up the phone or knocking on the door or sending an email or doing a marketing campaign? Because that's really what's going to differentiate you from anyone else who started in the sales business, gets to the manager, and the manager just hands him a list of calls to make. And then you're all excited, and you start doing the calls, and then you start hearing, "Why are you calling me again? I told you I'm not interested. Please delete myself from that list." I want you to understand, I want you to learn how not to fall into that trap. And one thing is that in sales, the number one income producing activity is to find leads and find new leads. And when I stress new leads, it's important because a lot of people have a list of 30, 40 names. And what do you normally do? That's right. You call them over and over again because obviously you're not able to reach all of the 40 people. You might have left 20 messages to one of the phone numbers and then you're like, no, but one day he's going to actually answer, right? And that list becomes so heavy that you kind of don't want to call anymore. So it's important for us to really have an activity and a determination to do and finding new leads. But Dietrich, I would love to have a list of hundreds, thousands of names to call to. But how do I really do that? Without having a recurring list, without having a list that you're calling all the time. So one important thing is before you even start calling is to find out who your prospect is and to find multiple ways to find them. Not just with one list, not just with something you might buy because it's really famous, right? $100, $20, you get 2,000 names. Guess who gets also all these names? Yes, all your competitors and all the other salespeople, they get that list, the same list as well. So what you need to find is what we talk, finding and putting a lot of poles into the same water. Because if you put several poles, guess what? The fish will eventually pick one of those poles. But if you put only one pole into the water, it's going to take a little bit longer, correct? There's a lot of things I could be talking about it, and of course, there's a lot of ways for you to find business journals, creating marketing leads, talking to your friends, making sure that you are connected with your alumni associations at your university. But one thing that I'm going to dive into is something that people really don't use as they used to, which is the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an amazing tool and it's not being used by salespeople the way it should be. So I'm going to give you a very quick tip of how to utilize it and how to make LinkedIn become one of those poles. Again, it's not the only one, it's only one, right? And so when you look at LinkedIn, my biggest question to you, how do you add the people on your LinkedIn? Do you just add everyone that you know, or people invite you and because it's professional, you just add everyone because it's not personal? Well, that's the wrong way to do LinkedIn. The right way to do LinkedIn is to find first, the same way that you do Facebook, is to really find the real connections that you really know and put them into LinkedIn. That's the number one thing you need to do. The number two is, do you know who your prospects is? Who is he? Who is your preferred client that you would love to have? Those are the people you want to invite, because those are the people you want to go after, right? So whenever there's someone that you don't know, but it has something to do with the business and the market you want to do, you can add them, because eventually they will become interested in your material, and then eventually you can be able to call them. It's kind of pseudo cold list, but it's not really, right? Because now you're part of my LinkedIn list, I kind of know you. But the magic of LinkedIn is not that. So first of all, make sure that you actually know the people that are in your LinkedIn, or at least have people that are interested in that you're interested in prospecting, right? If not, if you have someone that you don't even know why it's there and you will never have him as a client, why would you have him on LinkedIn? Put him on Facebook, but don't put him on LinkedIn. Now, once you get into LinkedIn, there's a wonderful button after you go into connections, which is the filter button. A lot of people don't use it the proper way. So press on that filter button, and once you're there, magic just comes up. You are able to filter by company, by title, by city, by languages, by everything. It's amazing. Now, the other amazing trick is first, second, and third tier. And those are really important, because that's really how you're going to connect to the friends of the people that you might not know. When you disconnect the first tier, the list will show everyone that your friends are connected to. And those are the magic people, which we were going to be talking about in the next module, which is called, not next, but it's on the cycle, it's the number 7 cycle of the sales, which is called referrals. And at that point, I'm going to be talking much more about the second and the third tier. I hope you enjoyed today. So thank you so much for listening to the first part of understanding how the cycle of sales works. If you did not subscribe, do it now. And the next week, we will be talking about the real approach. We talked about pre-approach now, today. We're going to talk about approach in our next